Hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. An absolute honour to be able to speak to you here at the Berlinale 2025. You seem to have a preoccupation with time in your work, whether that's over decades, with Boyhood, obviously your forthcoming one over different eras, Merrily We Go Along, and of course in the Before Sunset series. Here you're focusing on one night. What was it about Lorenz Hart's moment in time that you wanted to tell the story?
It just seems like the craziest, most perverse idea to show like a real time, one night in the life of Lorenz Hart on on the worst night ever, where his artistic partner, Richard Rodgers, has moved on to Hammerstein and the night of Oklahoma, seen through the view of the former partner. It's just kind of, an artist would see his own mortality artistically kind of happening in front of him. But he's such a big character. He's so funny and witty, and you kind of love him. I just wanted it to feel like, oh, he's the guy you would remember sitting next to in a bar all night and enjoy your 90 minutes with him, even though he's just a train wreck of a person.
Obviously, you've had such an incredible collaboration over the years with Ethan Hawke. Perhaps his most intense role, though, that he's done to date. How were you collaborating on creating this character together? Because I guess it's the physicality, it's the intonation, even just having to have these reams of dialogue that he has to read. So what was it like working with him?
One thing about an actor you've worked with before, particularly Ethan, because I've seen him, do theater, Shakespeare plays, I know the dialogue's not, it's a lot. Believe me, it's like one huge monologue practically, but I know he could do that. It's just, can he be that character? Can he go there? So it was a big lift for Ethan. He knew it, but he's up for that big challenge. So we both were, we push each other in a great way,
And what do you think it is about having that kind of single setting? There's like an intensity to it. I really did feel like I was watching a play. But what do you think that brings to the story and brings to the audience's experience?
It ups the intensity of the whole experience, even shooting it. Because we can't cut out a lot. We can't cut a scene. It rolls through. So it all has to work. We rehearse, we workshop it. It has to kind of work. It's a film. It's not a play. It's never been a play. But it's ideally, it would have to kind of work like one, that sense. So, I don't know. Everybody just has to work hard and be inspired. But yeah, that was just the challenge. Every film has some kind of challenge that makes it really difficult. This was the one room, real time, so we were up for it.
And I thought what was quite interesting is such a contrast to Hitman, which had this kind of kinetic energy to it. And then there's, this intensity, the intimacy to this. Was that kind of, like an enjoyable kind of shift to do something quite contrasting?
Every film's a shift, it's just different. Every film, this was a funny, it's such a different movie making. But no, every film has its own demands. So I don't know. I enjoy the variety you get to do. So.
And in terms of some of the themes that come out of it, what I found interesting is, it is just this one night, and there's not, in terms of the events that happen, it's him talking to different people. There's nothing major that's happening, but you got to the end of the film and you almost felt like everything had also happened, and you're so overcome with emotion. So, what do you think, all those things that he's facing just in that one evening?
Oh, poor Larry. It's really coming down on him. I think he's just so smart. It's rare that you get to kind of experience your own extinction event. I think the way humans are aware of mortality, they say we're different than most animals, that we're aware of, oh, we're going to die someday. But artists can go, oh, my career's going to be over someday. Like athletes do that. Like, oh, yeah, I can't play football forever. But artists don't. They think they can go all the way. It's hard for an artistic career to end. And he's not admitting or giving into an end, but we know, you sense it's over for him. He senses it's over for him, but he's doubling down, but that makes it even more poignant. So it's like, yeah, it's just sad. One of the great, such a great songwriter, but the times are changing. His own demons are starting to engulf him, After this night, it's not part of our story at all, but his mother passed away 2 weeks later. And he was probably never sober a day in his life to his death, 7 months later. So it's kind of the end of Larry Hart we knew.
And I feel like there's also a through line there of looking at, you know, the process of creating art itself, being an artist, and the fact that there's all the characters that's coming in that story as well, or, you know, also writers and playwrights, etc., etc. Did it have you kind of reflecting on your role as an artist and how you might look at your successes and your
You
career?
can't help but reflect, and you know, I think about these things more than most probably, or as much as most, and I'm really moved by those lines where he says, you know, is God finished with me? Is this the end? You know, I've had a few, you know, but no, and it passed so quietly, you know, like, yeah, you just wake up in a new world, you know, so it's kind of poignant when it's an artist, but it's just time going by, getting older, that can happen in a lot of ways, but it's just, I guess there's something poignant about the artist going through that, you know.
And finally, what you've got next through Merry Go Along is obviously like 15 years away, I suppose.
It's not next, yeah.
And
Because it's
what's
so
going to
long.
be?
If that's next, I'm in trouble. It means I'm not making a movie for 15 years. So
What's going to be in the interim?
yeah, hopefully, yeah. There's something we've been working on for as long as this, even kind of a historical thing. I have a film coming out later in the year about the French New Wave. It's called Nouvelle Vague, so I'm really excited about that. So I don't know. These, you know, keep the budgets low enough, you can maybe get some weird film made. So.
What is it that you love most about Ethan as an actor?
Besides the skill set, obviously, the kind of the joy of creation. You know, the work ethic meets pure fun of creativity. So
amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that with me. I'm
oh,
a huge fan.
Yeah,
It's really
yeah.
nice to meet you.